Hello everyone, welcome back to The Budget Sportsman. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Today I want to share with you 5 reasons why you may not be seeing deer. In most parts of the country, our deer season is well under the way, especially archery seasons. Rut is right around the corner in many places, and rifle seasons are not too far away as well. Maybe some of you have been putting a lot of time into the woods and wondering, why am I not seeing deer? Well, today I want to give you 5 reasons, and these reasons are primarily geared toward the newer hunter who's maybe struggling to find deer. However, if you're a more experienced hunter, feel free to watch the video. Maybe you'll find some information that sparks a thought that moves you towards success this season. So the first reason that I want to give you, you're probably going to think, no duh, that's a no-brainer. But there's a possibility that you're not seeing deer because you are in the wrong location. Now, before you tune me out, I want you to think about this with me. Certainly, you've probably considered that perhaps you're in the wrong tree or the wrong location on the property that you're hunting, whether that's private or public. But I also want to ask you to think about it in a much larger scale. Is it a possibility that you need to find a new property to hunt, a new piece of public ground? Maybe that you need to drive a little bit further. Often within a particular area, certainly within a particular state, and even within particular regions or counties or wildlife management units, there can be a lot of difference in topography, in habitat, in food sources that really impact the amount of deer or the deer density in that particular area. And that can really impact how many deer you're actually seeing. The example that I wanted to share with you is that when I was growing up, my grandparents owned a cabin in the mountains of central Pennsylvania. We hunted some private property that we owned there around the cabin, also some private property we had permission on, as well as public ground. And no matter where we hunted, it was rare for us to see very many deer. Sure, we saw some once in a while, but it was not uncommon for us to go home without seeing any deer or have only seen a couple of deer. Sure, we harvested some, sure we saw some from time to time, but not that many. A few years ago, that cabin got sold and some life changes moved my primary hunting area, and now I'm really grateful that I hunt in an area that has a good deer density. We don't necessarily have monster bucks, but we have a good number of deer. Now, I am blessed to hunt some private property. We have great deer density there, but I've also hunted and taken deer on public land, and for the most part, right around me, there's good deer densities even on the public ground. Now, the really interesting thing is I'm actually now hunting the exact same wildlife management unit as I was when I was growing up, just a different part of that unit. And the deer densities and the hunting experience is far different. Even 20 minutes from where I am right now, you're going to find some state ground that, sure, there are deer there, but just doesn't have the deer density of the particular area I'm hunting now. So it may be that you need to broaden your horizons. You may need to be willing to drive a little bit further to get to a different place. Maybe you need to knock on some doors to get permission to private property. But ask yourself, is there a different location, whether on my current property or a totally different property, that would get me into position to have a better chance of seeing deer or seeing more deer? The second reason I want to share with you is because you may be hunting old sign or the wrong sign. Now, I know for a long time it was really tempting for me just to find a deer trail and set up over that deer trail, thinking surely deer have made this trail, they're going to use it, and I'm going to get a shot opportunity. Well, that has not always been the case. I didn't always realize that deer may not always use that trail year-round. It may be seasonal based upon food sources and bedding areas. And maybe they use that trail at night. There's a lot of factors, and it's really important. I'm trying to learn this. I've got a long way to go, but it's really important to figure out the pieces of the puzzle. Where are deer bedding? What is their food source right now? And put the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out where the best place is to hunt. Now, over the last couple of years, I've learned how important it is to hunt over those falling acorns early in archery season. And if you can find falling acorns with fresh deer droppings, then you know you've got fresh sign and you're going to be in a hot spot area. If you're hunting old rubs and old trails and those kind of things, it may just not be doing you a whole lot of good. It's important to find the fresh sign, put the pieces of the puzzle together so you know where the deer are and what they're doing. Now, the third reason why you may not be seeing deer is you may be overhunting your spot. A few years ago, I had a spot that I loved. It was a beautiful spot, and I saw deer there all the time. But I also hunted there all the time. And after a while, what I noticed is I stopped seeing as many deer. And I've noticed with this with other hunters as well, who they get a spot, they love the spot, they hunt the spot over and over and over again. And sometimes they were seeing deer, and then they ask me, why am I not seeing deer anymore? And often it's because you're overhunting the spot. You're leaving scent in there. Maybe you're spooking deer from time to time. Whatever it is, deer start to recognize, hey, this area is no longer safe to go in, and they start finding other routes and other ways to travel without coming past your spot. So if you're hunting the same spot over and over again, it may be the reason why you're not seeing deer. Now, the fourth reason that you may not be seeing deer is because you're not paying attention to wind direction or scent control. Now, there's a huge debate in the hunting world about which one of these things you should do. Should you hunt the wind, or should you take some really serious scent control measures? I'm not here to debate that topic, but the point is whitetails have an incredible nose and they can smell really, really well. So if you're not paying attention to the wind direction and which way your scent is blowing in comparison to where you think deer are going to come from, or if you're not taking some serious scent control measures or doing both, there's a good chance that deer are smelling you before you ever see them, and they're simply not coming close because they've already smelled you. It is important to pay attention to the wind or your scent control. I've noticed there's been a few hunts this year that I've gotten lazy on that, and I've had deer blowing and busting off before I ever even had a chance to see them because I got lazy with paying attention to my scent control and wind direction. So the fifth and final reason that I'm going to give you today for why you may not be seeing deer is because you're not paying attention to your access or your entry and exit into your hunting location. There's a couple years ago that I found this amazing spot to hunt on public land. It was a funnel, a pinch point that was amazing, or so it seemed, but my really only access to that was through the bedding area. And so every time I would try to get in there, I would end up busting out deer. I tried coming in from another way, but it was blocked off by private land. And that spot just ended up not being a great spot because I was busting out deer before I would even get into that hunting spot. So if you're not paying attention to how you're getting in, and maybe you're busting deer on your way to your spot, that could be why you're not seeing deer. And part of that is, again, keeping in mind what scent you're leaving on the ground or what scent may be blowing into a bedding area and those kind of things. There have been several times this year where I've had deer come to my scent trail where I walked in and they smelled that scent trail and they got a little bit uneasy. So if they're crossing that scent trail before they even get to you, there's a good chance that that's the reason why you're not even seeing deer. So these are some very simple things, 5 very simple reasons why you may not be seeing deer, but if you're a new hunter, they may not be obvious to you. So I hope these are a help to you and maybe help you have success this hunting season. Hope you're getting out. I hope you're enjoying hunting season. The rut is just around the corner. It's probably already on us in some places. I hope you're enjoying your hunting season. Hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors into God's great creation.